Good morning, my dear students. Welcome back to the online recorded classes for class 11 physics. Okay, and today we are going to continue with the unit kinematics. All right, till the last classes we have been doing vectors, how do we resolve vectors and how do we multiply and add vectors. We were doing those till the last class, and now we are coming to the actual application of resolution of vectors. Okay, and in this class we are going to do a very important topic. The name of the topic is projectile motion. Okay, which is nothing but motion in two dimension. Okay, suppose a body travels along a straight line, that means it is covering the distance only in one direction, that is motion in one direction. Or if a body is going vertically upwards, it is covering a distance only in the y direction. So in either cases the motion is called motion in a straight line or motion in one dimension. Now we will come to a practical situation where a body would be covering displacement in both x and y direction. That means it is also called motion in a plane. Okay, here the plane that we have chosen is the xy plane, and the body is covering a certain distance in the x direction. At the same time it would have covered some distance in the y direction. Example of such a motion is a projectile motion. Projectile motion is seen in our day-to-day life. You kick a football, okay, now the football does not go straight after you kick it at a certain angle. Okay, it will fly a bit, that means it will cover a horizontal distance as well as it will cover a vertical distance, and after some time it will reach a maximum height. Then after reaching the maximum height it is going to descend down to the ground. So this is the motion that we see after kicking a football. Or if you just throw a piece of chalk like this, okay, at an angle, it will cover a projectile motion like this. All right. So let us analyze this motion in two dimension in a bit of detail, and we will come to know certain terms related to this motion, and later we are also going to prove that the motion of a projectile follows a parabolic path mathematically. Okay, so let's start with the analysis. Okay, suppose you launch a body and in this direction, making an angle theta with the x-axis. So the launching velocity, that means the velocity with which you are going to launch the particle, is called u. Okay, now it will go and reach a maximum height and then it is going to come back. So this type of motion is called projectile motion. All right. Now if you look at each and every point on this motion, suppose you look at this point number 1. Okay, here you can see that it has covered a certain distance along the x-axis. Okay, and here you can see it has covered a certain height also. So this is the displacement along the x-axis and this is the displacement along the y-axis. All right. If you come to the point, the highest point B, okay, say this is point A, the initial position, this is B, and the last position we take it as C. Okay, and here you can see it has covered a certain distance. Okay, say this was x2 and this second one is x2. Okay, and here it has covered a certain height along the y-axis. If this was y1 and this second one will be named as y2. Okay, then after again it will descend and come down to the final come down to the same level as it was launched. Okay, now suppose A is the initial position, you launch it with initial velocity u and it comes down. Okay, B is the highest point and C is where the motion will stop. All right. Now say the initial velocity was u. Now as I told you, we are going to apply the resolution of vectors. Now this one, this is theta. Now this component along the x-axis is called u cos theta, as we have done in the previous classes, and this component is called u sin theta. Okay, so I can write ux, that means the x component of the initial velocity, as u cos theta, and the y component of the initial velocity is equal to u sine theta. Okay. Now we will see the motion, because the motion is occurring in both x and y direction. We will see separately what is happening in the x direction and what is happening in the y direction in terms of velocity, in terms of acceleration, okay, and in terms of the displacement covered. Now that is, if this is x and this is y, we are going to analyze the motion in x and y separately. Now for x, initial velocity, that is ux, is equal to u cos theta, and in this direction initial velocity is equal to u sin theta. We will use all these when we derive the different equations. Alright. Now acceleration along the x axis and acceleration along the y axis. Now along the x axis, along the y axis, since it is, once you launch it, it will be free to move under the force of gravity. That means the acceleration acting on the body will be only due to gravity. Okay. Now gravity does not act in the horizontal direction, it acts in the vertical direction. Okay. So acceleration along the y axis, okay, along the y direction will be negative of g, because we have considered the motion to be like this, okay, and acceleration due to gravity is acting downwards, so we take it as negative g with respect to the motion. All right. And ax, as I told you, the only acceleration acting here is due to gravity. So along the x there is no acceleration due to gravity, so it will be equal to 0. Now if acceleration is equal to 0, that means it is an unaccelerated motion along the x axis. That means velocity at each and every point is a constant, which is again equal to the initial velocity. All right. Now along the y-axis, the velocity is constantly changing because the acceleration here is acceleration due to gravity. Now as you go up, the acceleration slowly decreases. Okay. As you go up, the acceleration slowly decreases as it is going away from gravity. Now on top, the value of acceleration due to gravity will be equal to 0. After which, again as it comes down, since it is coming downwards under the force of gravity, the acceleration again keeps on increasing. Okay. That means acceleration along the y-axis first decreases. When it reaches the highest point, acceleration velocity becomes equal to 0. Okay, that means velocity is decreasing. On reaching the top, velocity becomes equal to 0, and while descending, the velocity constantly increases. Okay, and when it reaches this position, it will be exactly equal to the initial velocity. Okay, so that is how acceleration and velocity can be related. So velocity here is changing, okay, and it becomes equal to 0 at maximum height. All right. Now with this basics, we are now ready to derive a few terms related to this projectile motion. There are 3 terms to be derived. We have very easy derivations if you know these basics correctly. The first one we are going to derive is time of flight. Okay. Now time of flight is the time taken by this projectile to complete one round of motion. That means while coming from A to C, how much time does it take? So first we will take time taken to ascend up. Okay, and it is found experimentally that the time taken to ascend up is equal to the time taken to descend down. That means we will just find the time from here to here, and then we are just going to double it. Okay, and the second one is maximum height. That means what is the maximum height reached by the projectile? It depends on this angle. We will come to know about that later. And lastly, we will also find out the range. Range means how much distance does it cover along the horizontal direction. That means displacement from A to C is called the range. So we are going to derive these 3 terms now very quickly. Now for time of flight, it is the time taken by the projectile to complete one round, okay, one parabolic path. Now we will consider the motion along the x direction, motion in the y direction, because we have to take the time, we have to find out the time taken by this particle to reach this maximum height, that is from A to B. So we will consider motion along the y direction. So while deriving these three equations, we are either taking y or either taking x depending on the situation. Okay. Now we have, because it is vertical direction, we will take the initial velocity along the y direction as u sine theta. Okay. Then acceleration along the y direction, from there it is equal to minus g. Alright. Now Vy, velocity along the y direction, when it reaches the final destination, that is B, as I had told you previously, here the velocity becomes equal to 0, that is minimum. So Vy is equal to 0. Okay. And time, let the time taken by this particle to reach from A to B be t. We will find out t, then we are just going to take the double of it. Okay. Now applying the equation, V is equal to u plus at, the kinematic, the first kinematic equation. Now V, that is Vy, is equal to 0, is equal to u is uy, that is u sine theta, plus a is minus g and time is t. So I can write u sine theta is equal to is equal to gt, because if I just take it on this side, the minus will become plus. Okay. That means t will be equal to u sine theta divided by g. So this is the time taken for the particle to reach B from the point A, because time of flight is the total time taken by the particle to reach from A to C. So we assume the time taken to ascend is equal to time taken to descend. That means the total time of flight will be just equal to 2 times t, that is 2 times this t. So which is equal to 2u sine theta divided by g. So this is the equation for time of flight. Alright. Now we will quickly move on to the second term. The second term that we have to calculate is maximum height. So we need to calculate displacement along the y direction now. So again we have to take motion along the y direction, and we will take the motion from A to B again. Alright. Now maximum height h. Alright. Again initial velocity is equal to u sine theta. We are taking the vertical direction here. Velocity at the maximum height, that is B, is equal to 0, and acceleration is equal to minus g. Alright. And displacement along the y direction, let it be sy, is equal to h, because displacement is the distance between the initial reference position and the maximum position, that is equal to h. Now applying the equation, s is equal to ut plus half at square, s is h, okay, u is u sine theta plus, okay, we may avoid this big confusion here. We will just go for a shorter equation. Sy is equal to h. So let's apply the equation which does not involve any time. So we will apply s square is equal to u square plus, sorry, not s square, v square is equal to u square plus 2as. This is the equation that we are going to use, because it does not contain any time term. Okay. Now v is 0. Alright. U is u sine theta, square of it is u square sine square theta, plus 2 into a is minus g and s is h. Okay. On solving, we will find h is equal to u square sine square theta divided by 2g. So this is the expression for the height, okay, maximum height reached by the projectile. Okay, let us now quickly move on to the last term, that is range, that is the horizontal range. Now for horizontal range we are going to take motion along the x direction. So we will take the distance covered between A and C. Okay, for that we will take initial velocity along the x direction, that is u cos theta. Okay, then acceleration along the x direction is always 0. Then displacement along the x direction is nothing but the range, because this is what we are calculating, called the range. Okay, then time is nothing but the time of flight, because we have taken the entire motion into consideration. Now applying the equation, now we can apply S is equal to ut plus half at square. Okay, now S is r, u is the initial velocity, that is u cos theta, time is t, okay, plus half, not plus because it is this is g, so a is equal to 0 here, because acceleration along the x direction is 0, so this term vanishes to 0. Now replacing the value of t that we had calculated previously, where t was equal to 2u sin theta divided by g. Now we can write it as u square by g 2 sin theta cos theta. Now trigonometric ratios, you need to know a lot of formula here. Trigonometric ratio or relation, 2 sin theta cos theta is equal to sin 2 theta. So I can write r is equal to u square by g into sin 2 theta. So this is the formula for horizontal range, and the formula for the previous two were maximum height, h is equal to u square sin square theta by 2g, and we also had calculated the time of flight to be equal to 2u sin theta divided by g. Alright, so these three formula you have to learn, okay, because it will be helpful for you to solve the numericals. Now coming to the last thing today, we are going to now prove that the equation of this projectile is a parabola. That means we are now going to find out the trajectory of the projectile. The trajectory means the path followed. Alright, we will prove that it is parabolic. Now if it is parabolic, how will you find out whether the equation, whether the motion is a parabolic, it is following a parabolic path or not? Just by showing that y, that is displacement along the y direction, is proportional to or is related to the second power of x. So if you are able to find a relation which connects y and x in such a way that y is proportional to the second power of x, then we can say that the motion of the parabola, motion of the projectile is parabolic. Alright, now let's quickly do it. That means here path followed, to find out the path followed, we are going to show the relation between x and y, and here we will try to eliminate any term related to t. That means any term related to t has to be replaced in terms of x and y, and then we are going to write the equation. Alright, now taking any random point, not the highest point, not the minimum point, just take any point along the motion, okay, this is x, the displacement covered here is x, and this is y, okay, launching velocity was u and this was theta. Alright, now we will use the equation S is equal to ut plus half at square, okay. Before that, we will just try to find out an equation in the x direction, okay. S is equal to ut plus half at square, okay. Because why we are taking in the x direction? Because a is equal to 0, so this will be a simpler equation. Now that displacement along the x direction is equal to x, okay. it is initial velocity is u cos theta and the time taken is t. Now here we will just find out the expression for t in terms of x. T is equal to x by u cos theta. Let it be 1 and we are going to replace this value of t so that the term containing t is totally eliminated. Now this we will take along the y direction. So s is equal to y, u along the y direction, the launching velocity was uy, that is u sin theta, okay, into t minus half, a is minus g, so I have taken minus in the beginning, gt square. Now in each term we are going to replace the value of t from equation 1. So it is u sin theta into t is x by u cos theta minus half g, t is x square, t square is x square by u square cos square theta. Okay, now here I can see sin theta by cos theta, u will kill each other. So sin by cos is tan theta. So I can write x tan theta minus half, I'll write all the terms together here, all the constants, u square cos square theta x square. So here we have established a relation between y and x, and we can see that this first power of y is proportional to the second power of x, which means this equation is the equation of a parabola, which proves that the path followed by a projectile motion is a parabolic path. Thank you for your attention.